This is Danny Gaffone for ESBR Boxing in Manchester. Just had the weigh-in for Chris Eubank Jr versus Liam Smith, and behind enemy lines, Frank Smith. Frank, what are you doing here?
I'm Team Eubank supporter, and I've got my T-shirt on under here. Don't tell anyone.
What did you make of not just the weigh-in, but the whole sort of build-up this fight week? Got a bit personal yesterday at the press conference, but I think it's sort of done nothing but add to the sort of hype for the fight.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think you look at what happened yesterday. Like, for people in boxing, that happens every couple of days in press conferences all over the world. That's part of boxing. Yeah, it did get a bit personal. Some things were said, but it's not the first time we've seen it. And I think there's been a lot of spice between the two of these, hasn't there? And it's been going on for a while now, and tensions are rising. But looking forward, I think it's going to be a great fight.
There's not much point asking you for your prediction, but how do you specifically see the fight playing out in terms of stylistic blend, maybe the effect the weight might have?
I think it goes 12 rounds. I think it's going to be a great fight. I think both guys have got no quit in them. Chris is a tough man. Liam the same. I think the weight a little bit. Liam's always been 154, always made the weight very easy. He's coming up to 160. Chris naturally bigger, but I think we're going to be in for a great fight. Looking forward to it.
On the matters more close to home for yourself, Anthony Joshua back in April. Jermaine Franklin the front runner.
He's one of the names there. We're looking at it. Hopefully, in the next few days we'll get something finalised. Key for Anthony Joshua, keep him active this year. Looking at 3 fights this year. It's been a long time since he's done that, and that's the focus for us now.
Eddie said last week that Anthony had finally sort of stopped the look for a new trainer. It seems to be everywhere that it's Derek James. When do you think we'll get official confirmation from AJ on who the new trainer is?
Whenever he's ready. I don't know. I mean, I think, like I just said in another interview, the key is with Anthony Joshua. It just shows that he still wants to learn in this sport. He could walk away today. He's made enough money from the sport, but his focus is to become undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. He still wants to learn. Still wants to train. With new people. So let's see. But I'm sure when he's ready to make that announcement, he will.
WBC, President Monsieur Suleiman came out the other week and said Conor Benn, not serving any ban, free to fight. Eddie said in a recent interview, in an ideal world they'd like to get it resolved here, a conclusion for the WBC, but if not, sort of hinted that you would look to proceed forward. Any sort of time scale on when you will make that decision on whether or not to start planning Conor's next fight? I
think that one of the key things about Conor is he could have boxed a week after. I'm not saying he would have done. His focus was to clear his name. He shared every bit of information he can and more. It's now sitting with other people. Conor's done everything he can. Again, the focus has always been clearing his name, but I think at the same time it gets to a position where, in a young man's career, boxing career isn't long, any career in sport isn't long, and you need to maximise the time you have. So I think very soon we have to look at things. Like I say, he could have fought a week after. If that's what he wanted to do, he could have done that. His focus was clearing his name. His focus will still be to clear his name, but now we've got to get him back in the ring, up and running.
If you do look to get Conor's career back in motion, will you look to reapply for a British Boxing Control licence or take him on one of the international shows?
I mean, look, that's one for Conor. There's nothing stopping, just like Tyson Fury is not licensed by the British Boxing Board of Control. There's nothing stopping international fighters with international licences, from getting licensed and boxing in territories. He has obviously feelings about the way things were handled, but that's one for another day.
Last one for me. You mentioned Tyson Fury there. We're all waiting for some developments in this big undisputed fight with Alexander Usyk. Seems to have maybe been a bit of a stalling with potential splits, venues. Eddie's not confident it happens. What do you think?
I think he's going to retire tonight about 9:57, and then at 10 he might come back out of retirement. But who knows? It's the fun and games of the Tyson Fury show.
They mentioned, I think the big expectation was a big site fee in the Middle East, but then they've started throwing about Wembley. Do you think there's any possibility we could see the fight in the UK?
I think there's only one group of people who can deliver shows internationally and big site fees, and that's not that lot.
Frank, thanks very much.
Cheers.